So I thought I'd take a minute and share with you a little bit of my airbrush setup that I have going on right now. Specifically, I want to talk about how I connect my airbrush to my airbrush compressor, which is actually more of a shop compressor instead. Let me flip the camera around for you right now and I'll share with you my setup currently. So here's the compressor that I'm using, and it's actually done quite a good job since I purchased it. It's been probably 3 to 6 months since I got it. My compressor has 2 hookups. There's this one, which I don't really use, and this one here on the side. That's my main one that I prefer to use. Coming straight out of that will be my moisture trap. You want one of these, so in that way any moisture that builds up within the tank of the compressor will be filtered out of the air via the moisture trap. This way it won't end up on any of your projects. Okay. I've just got a plug and a coupler connected to that. You know, one of these. And it just hooks in right to there. Just like so. Next in line, I've got a plug. Which then connects into the moisture trap. And on that, got a little fitting there, if you ignore the plug, that screws onto the airbrush hose right here at this point. And that allows me to thread on this plug. Then you just got the airbrush hose. Keep in mind it's different from a shop air hose, as seen here. This is what you'd regularly see in a you know, used in a auto body shop or something like that. And then coming up next, I've got my airbrush quick disconnect, which allows me to easily clip the airbrush into the airline. This comes in really handy because otherwise you'll have to thread on the airbrush air hose onto the airbrush right there. But the quick disconnect basically fills that gap and allows it to easily clip together like such. Now mine does have a MAC valve, which allows me to adjust the air pressure right here in the airline instead of having to go back to my pressure regulator right here on the compressor. And that's pretty much it. So I'll go ahead and hook all this up and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've hooked everything up, and we'll start at the beginning again. So I got my pressure regulator right here, which then leads into my moisture trap, which then goes into the airbrush airline, well, air hose, and then comes into the airbrush right there via the quick disconnect with the MAC valve. This is a very simple setup, and it's what I'm currently using at the moment. But when I want to get some distance from my air compressor so that I don't have to listen to it as I airbrush, I'll use this shop air hose. I'll plug that into the airline and get some distance from the compressor. That way I don't have to listen to it, which, you know, can be nice from time to time, but for the most part I typically have my earbuds in, so I can't hear it anyway. Now before I go ahead and hook everything up, I want to show you where I'm placing it within the airline. I'm going to put it just after the compressor. I'll hook it in there, then the other end will go directly into my moisture trap, which then leads off how I originally explained. Now this is probably going to be most helpful for those who have a large shop compressor and are unable to move it to the location to which they intend on airbrushing. So this can help you get some distance. But like I said previously, it also can be nice to get the compressor away from your workspace. That way you don't have to listen to the noise produced. Now you can see it comes directly out of the compressor and then goes directly into the moisture trap, to which then goes into the airbrush air hose and then goes directly into the airbrush. Notice how the airbrush air hose is much thinner than the shop air hose. It's designed specifically to be used with an airbrush.